Now, Adam Meet Eve Agency is a dating service and exclusive social network for Christians around and across the UK. I believe it started back in 2019. Well, I'll get corrected if I've got it wrong. And it was founded by the one, the only Dr Sara Jayne. Now, she's passionate about bringing people together for love, but also she's also passionate about engaging and impacting and empowering singles. So enough of my basic introduction. Let me bring in the lady herself, and she can tell us all about it. Good evening, good evening, good evening. How you doing?
I'm good, Howard. How are you?
Yes.
Lovely to be here again.
Yeah, it's been a while, but and Adam Meet Eve is still here.
It's still here. It's still here. You're exactly right in your intro. I started in 2019 and I can't believe it's the third year that I've been running this agency. Incredible. And I'm telling you, it's been such a journey, but so worthwhile.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I love to hear. I love to hear and see great things that you're doing, that you've started something, you've been intentional about so much. And I think there has been so many great fruits from your labor of love, to coin a phrase as well. So fantastic. So you know what, it's Valentine's after all, and am I out of touch if I don't celebrate Valentine's?
No, in fact, a lot of Christian couples I know don't subscribe or buy into the commercialization of the day.
Yeah.
It's just they don't need one particular day to express their devotion or affection. It's a good reminder, but this should be happening continually throughout the year. So my siblings, who two of them are married, they're both going to be joining me on my Valentine's Day broadcast to help put it on. And I'm so happy that I've got extra pairs of hands. So I'm so glad that, you know, people don't have to be swept away in the materialism, but haven't lost the fact that true love is supposed to be shown every day.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree on that one. Now, do you feel that people put themselves under any more pressure to be in a relationship around Valentine's, or some people want to break up around Valentine's so they don't have to kind of go the whole hog, as it were? But do you feel people feel under any pressure with Valentine's and this time of year?
I feel the pressure starts from, I would say, around Christmas time. We don't celebrate Thanksgiving in the UK, though I'm not going to be too surprised if it comes over, like we've adopted Halloween here. But around the holidays where families get together, there's almost a pressure to show achievement. And people, unfortunately, reduce achievement to relationships and relationship status. So around Christmas time, New Year's, major holidays, people often feel reminded about their single status because there's so much in the media about being together. And if you're a single unit, even though you're part of a family and hopefully part of a community, you're reminded that perhaps you're not in the relationship that you desire to be. So yeah, there is definite pressure. Everywhere you look, it's red, pink, hearts, roses, and celebration of something that you perhaps have been praying for. So I would say, yeah, the pressure intensifies, but it starts from, I would say, Christmas time.
You know, and some people are very comfortable being single. But sometimes there seems to be a bit of a stigma attached to it. What is it that we can do to remove that stigma, or to promote that singleness is just what it is? You know, whether you choose to be single or to be in a relationship, it's something that you can still live your life wholly and comfortably and be happy.
I think you have to appreciate other achievements and milestones in people's lives separate to marriage and family focus. There are so many women that I know that I'm inspired by, mentored by, who are perfectly content in their single season. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, they don't feel they've lost out or anything, or it's an unanswered prayer. They just trust the will of God for their lives. And I think it's how we're going to change this whole culture, is even in families, not just celebrating weddings and engagements and relationships, but buying your first house, making career shifting moves, starting over again when you've gone through something that's been a huge life transition, moving, relocating. These are things that ought to have cards, parties, promotion and celebration around them. And I think the more we start to look at people's lives more than their status, is the more that the culture will shift. So it starts a conversation.
Yeah, I love that. And Do you feel, I mean, I've been talking to a few people recently in regards to this, about taking the opportunity to highlight self-love.
Yes. Now we have to be very strategic or focused in how we define the self-love, because the Body Shop came up with an advert, I think it was last year, and self-love was about, you know, having some private time with yourself. That's what they, I don't know if you still heard, that was on Channel 4 for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A very controversial advert. But self-love is something that should be across the board, regardless of your marital status. Self-love is simply appreciating the gift and the uniqueness that God has given unto you and made you to be, and your purpose on this earth. It's treating yourself well. People love to quote, love your neighbor as you love yourself. But if you don't love yourself, how can you love other people? It's your standard, it's your template.
Yeah.
And sometimes a lot of people treat other people better than actually how they treat themselves.
Yeah.
It's prioritizing your health. I say to myself now, because I'm on a major health kick, that if I'm too busy to work out, I'm just too busy. And I have to rearrange my schedule and reprioritize some things, because in my productiveness, I cannot allow my self-care to slip.
I've
got one body. And it's simple decisions, as this person that's in my life, as much as we have history together, they're a drain. When we're together, I don't feel excited. I come away feeling exhausted because they have everything to offload. So now I have to make a decision to distance or limit my time or exposure to them. It's not that I'm walking away, but it's just I'm putting boundaries that preserve my health and mental well-being. That's self-love. And pushing yourself, actually not limiting yourself to what other people have done, but taking the road less traveled, making your dreams and imagination a reality, at least trying. That's self-love. So I think the definition is so much wider than what people think it is, with just a spa and taking yourself out to dinner.
Which are all good as well, yeah?
All I love it. All excellent. I'm doing that next week, so I'm a fan here.
So talking from, just give us an idea of some of the, your work with singles and your work with also with Adam Meet Eve. Sure. Around some of the, I'm just trying to think, give us some top tips, or no, before we get onto the top tips, right? Let's hear some of the key requirements that some people have made in terms of looking for a partner. So, are they different from men and for women? So are men always about looks? Are men always about, the physical attributes? Are women always about, a man's got to have a job, he's got to have his own car, got to have a job if you want to be with me, right? Tell us some of these tips, or top attributes then.
Okay, so over the last 3 years, the focus of the Adam Meet agency has gone from matchmaking to singlehood coaching. Very strategic. We found the matchmaking itself process, because people come with their shopping list, it was too labor intensive and the yield was low. It was too hard to try and to find someone that fits within the narrow view that each men and women held, and they were being picky, like they were at what's that restaurant called? Vapiano's, and you can alter the pasta dish and you can put a little bit of spring onions here and take out this element. They were treating people like that, and it became too difficult. So what I've done is switch the focus into singlehood coaching, but the top things that men and women were asking for. So men, no, I'll start with women actually. Women, definitely, when they first come in, before we work together on the coaching program, it's all about, for Christians, the spiritual component. But I found that the spiritual maturity had to match theirs exactly. So how they expressed it, how they were active in ministry, how they showed devotion to God, they're looking for that in a partner. Not bad, not saying it's anything unusual or bad, but that was a top requirement for my ladies. Then it was the financial stability. Then it was about being not divorced, and not having children. And then it was about them being funny, intellectual, and of course physically attractive to them. Height came up more often than you would believe in my interviews, especially when I'm doing my initial consultation. So yeah, that was women, right? Men now, they were definitely visually stimulated. The things that women thought qualified them for a good man actually weren't high up on a man's list. So they're not so impressed by your educational achievements or your professional qualifications or how much money you have. It was how you make them feel. And so you have to be pretty or attractive to look at. It wasn't a particular look, because every man has his preference, his shape or whatever, but it was the confidence. It was the, do you take care of yourself? It was kindness, humility. Now, these are things that are unfortunately lost in the feminist and hyper woke society that we're living in right now, where women don't just want to be in equal par with men, they want to be better than men. And so there's almost like a undertone. And it's become very challenging in the dating world, because then we have our women bosses who ain't never going to settle, and I need this and blah blah blah, and the men they're going for, they're not their type.
Okay, so there's a very mixed bag, and is that what makes it so complicated?
Yes, absolutely. It made it so complicated. I think after about 18 months doing this, I said to my team, there's got to be a better way. And I found that coaching my singles and empowering them and giving them practical strategies that work, they were able to attract and to actually date and actually get into a relationship with people off their own back, rather than us finding them for them. And I found that, it changes lives that way. So
would you say that your focus now is on helping people to refine who they are, so that actually their eyes are opened in a different way to who is out there? Yes, that's a part of it. I like that, refining who they are. I feel that it's coaching. So it's specific to this particular area of their life, their social life, right? Because oftentimes my clients are bosses, they're leaders, they're high up in management, they own their own companies, they're successful people. It's just this one part of their life where they need a little bit of a refreshing look at it and a new strategy. And that's what I do. I help make their dating life more effective and what they're looking for more realistic, so they're likely to end up in the relationship that they're praying for. And I found that shift of mentality, just how they view things, how they date, what their requirements were, changing those things or discussing them, we were able to open the net a little bit wider, and whoop, we're catching people, or they're attracting guys that actually they can have a really good life with. They complement each other. And I feel like it's just so much more rewarding to see them phoning me up or sending me emails and photos of them on dates and now in relationships, we're getting engaged, etc., which has all been happening in the last year of people completing the program. So it works. Brilliant. Now, kind of closing down, but in terms of your clientele, on the basis that you may have some of your clients who are going to be older, how much coaching do you have to do to help people not to be picky? Or because when you're older, you are more set in your ways, how do you enable or support people so that they've got to take a chill pill? Or actually, is it perfectly acceptable to be set in your ways and have those high expectations? I realized that the older clients, let's say 35 plus, were harder to coach. And you use the exact words that I would use, set in their ways. They've lived a large portion of their life as single people, or some of them have come from relationships. They know what they want, what they don't want, and they are very difficult to shift or to budge or to try something new with. You do have, that's why I thought about putting an age limit on my agency. I did, but then there are a small percentage of those who are open and are flexible to trying something new, and they're seeing the results from that. But it is extremely hard to work with some clients. And sometimes I have initial consultation and I said, I can't actually sign you up to the program because we're not going to work well together. And that's fine, absolutely fine. I can give them general advice, but they're not at a stage in their life where they want or need or feel they need this kind of input or coaching. It's actually quite a fairly new concept to the church world or Christian world. And if people are not ready for it and they're happy doing what they're doing, I leave them to it. That's one thing about me. I'm not Howard. I'm not going there to try and shift or shake up anyone's status quo or to force changes that they don't want to see happen. But if they're coming to me, it's because something's not working.
And so you've got to think about what else can we do?
Yeah. So tell me how you've been received by churches, because you probably cross multiple organizations. How do you feel you've been received so far?
I think that's one of the indirect or secondary or offshoot successes of the agency. What I've done is to increase the prominence of single adults ministry.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been warmly received by what I thought was traditional and quite, how to say, culturally restrictive bodies. But I have actually been consulted, phoned up, brought in for workshops, done online seminars from small churches to larger churches, where people have handed over their pulpits to me for 3 Sundays. Can you believe that? To teach on something that perhaps has not been focused on or managed very well in the past. So I'm actually quite surprised and just blown away by how things are changing. So when they say the church is not doing something, that's not true. There are many churches that are, and I'm hoping that people start to realize that they can, especially when it comes to single adults ministry, look outside of their church 4 walls and think kingdom rather than church brand and denomination, because they can be served in their singles, from the singles perspective, from another organization, and still attend the church that they attend. I'm not trying to set up a new, we've got too many already. I'm not trying to set up a new church. I'm here as a consultant to support and to build up. And I've been well received. There's some that's skeptical always, but when we start to have that conversation, that dialogue, a lot of times they can understand where I'm coming from. And they understand that just pray about it probably isn't the best thing to say to your singles year after year, decade after decade. They know that they have to do more, and I'm there to help.
Brilliant. So tell us how people can follow you, find out more about who you are. I can see it all over the screen, Adam Meet Eve. But tell us the best way to contact you on all your socials.
Just following this, also on this side, this Adam Meet Eve here, on Facebook under that username, Adam Meet Eve here, and on Instagram, and also my personal page, Sara Jayne, but you have to spell it Sara space Jayne. I do a lot on my personal page, but always link into these different places. And of course, my website is adammeetevehere.com. And just send me a testimonial if you want to apply, if you want to just sign up to see what services I offer. I feel that's the best way. Shoot me an inbox message. I do respond, and I'm really approachable. So we're gonna have a conversation.
You are really approachable. And on that note, can I just say congratulations to you? For watchers, viewers now, they've probably not missed the fact that your left hand has been quite active during this conversation. What's that? So congratulations on your engagement. And really pleased for you. And you're not going to let go of the singles, are you?
Oh, no. My assignment is not complete. I feel even more inspired to continue, because now in a relationship, it makes more sense what I was doing before. There's a context for, and I can now see the before, the transition, and of course when I get married, the after. And I like that cohesiveness. So no, I will not be leaving singles ministry. I want to be training more singles coaches, more singlehood consultants, more single adult ministry leaders across the UK and globally. And that's part of my life assignment.
Come on now, somebody. Now, so tell us on Valentine's Day itself. So on Monday, you'll be doing a online. Tell us more about what's happening online.
We're going to be having the relaunch of my single prayer broadcasts. And I used to do this on Facebook every Monday, and then my work schedule changed and it came to Tuesdays or Wednesdays. But now in 2022, we are back, and I'm kicking off with a special Valentine's Day broadcast. And I'm going to have some special guests with me, and I'm going to keep that for a surprise for the night, who are going to intercede and really uplift and encourage people who may be feeling a little bit down or a bit discouraged. There's no need to be. We're going to remind you about your worth, your value, and just get you fired up for 2022. Now is not the time to give up. It's time to press.
Come on now. Brilliant. Appreciate your time. Thank you again for joining us here on the show. And we really wish you well going forward.
Thank you so much, Howard. It's a pleasure to be here always. Bye, buddy.